General Department Substance Abuse Policy of the Fire Department of the City of New York. Drugs and alcohol. Objective: to ensure safety of all members, prevent accidental injury, persons, or property caused by impaired ability, to promote good health and job fitness of all members, to provide assistance to any member who seeks the fire department's help in overcoming addiction to, dependence upon, or problems with alcohol or drugs, to maintain the reputation of the fire department and its members as responsible public servants worthy of public trust. Definitions: prohibited conduct, duties regarding substance policies, testing procedures, guidelines for violations of this policy. Chapter 1. Preliminary Statement. This circular sets forth the Department policy concerning the use and possession of illegal drugs, use and possession of legally prescribed drugs in a manner or purpose other than that which lawfully prescribed, and use and possession of alcohol by Department members. Set forth prohibited conduct related to illegal drugs and alcohol. Clarifies responsibility for enforcement of this policy. Establishes conditions for mandatory testing for the presence of illegal drugs or alcohol. Policy. As first responders to fires, public safety, and medical emergencies, disasters, and terrorist acts, the FDNY protects the lives and property of New York City residents and visitors. The Department advances public safety through its fire prevention, investigation, and education programs. The timely delivery of these services enables the FDNY to make significant contributions to the safety of New York City and homeland security efforts. The efficient performance of the mission demands the highest level of mental and physical fitness of the Department members. The lives of citizens and co-workers are dependent upon the fitness, stamina, and alertness of firefighters and fire officers. Drugs and alcohol alter alertness, judgment, physical agility, and ability to fulfill one's work responsibilities. Any impairment of the member's physical and mental capabilities increases the dangers of accidents and injuries, not only to the member, but to fellow firefighters and to the public. Accordingly, this circular sets forth the Department's policy with respect to alcohol and illegal drugs. The purpose of this policy are as follows: to ensure the safety of all members, to prevent accidental injury to persons or property caused by impaired ability, to promote good health and job fitness of all members, to provide assistance to any member who seeks the fire department's help in overcoming addiction to, dependence upon, or problems with alcohol or drugs, to maintain the reputation of the fire department and its members as responsible public servants worthy of public trust. All members are required to be familiar with and to follow the policies and procedures set forth in this AUC and any addenda. All members must be cognizant that time is of essence with respect to substance-related misconduct, and that their duties as set forth below in Section 5 must be fulfilled immediately. Violation of this policy may result in disciplinary action up to and including termination. Range of penalties is set forth in Section 8 below. Definitions: alcohol: any substance including medication that contains alcohol in any amount. Illegal drugs include marijuana, cannabis as currently defined in Section 3302 of the New York City Public Health Law, any substance listed in Section 3306 of the New York City Public Health Law, including but not limited to amphetamines, anabolic steroids, barbiturates, cocaine, codeine, hashish, heroin, LSD, mescaline, methadone, methylhexamethylphene, ecstasy, morphine, narcotics, opiates, PCP, tranquilizers that are A. obtained without a lawful prescription, or B. used in a manner or for a purpose other than that which is lawfully prescribed. Marijuana as defined above, and certain substances, e.g. ecstasy, heroin, listed in Section 3306 of the New York City Public Health Law, may not be used or possessed lawfully. Any substance used in a manner prohibited by the federal, state, and local laws, rules, and regulations. Level of alcohol that elicits a positive test result: 0.05 blood alcohol consumption, BAC. This is the amount of alcohol in your blood as determined by a urine, blood, or saliva test. Levels of illegal drugs that elicit a positive test result. Substance: methamphetamine, urine EMAT test level 300 ng/ml, urine GCMS confirmation test level 300 ng/ml. Opiates: 2000 ng/ml, 2000 urine CMS confirmation test level 2000 ng/ml. 6-mem heroin, urine EMIT doesn't show up, 10 ng/ml for urine GCMS confirmation test level. Cocaine: 300 ng/ml, urine GCMS confirmation test level 150 ng/ml. Barbiturates: 200 200. Benzodiazepine, 300, 300. Darvon, 300, 300. PCP, 25, 25. Amphetamines, 1,000. Urine, 500. THC, 50. Urine GCMS, 15. 10. Methamphetamine, 300, 300. Positive test result. A laboratory test result that's certified by the Chief Medical Officer or his or her designee after reviewing the laboratory report and the completed drug and or alcohol testing questionnaire form of the random drug testing questionnaire form as applicable. Premise: any FDNY division or battalion office, firehouse, ambulance station, or other location owned, leased, or operated by FDNY, including parking facilities adjacent to such premises. Substance, alcohol, or illegal drugs is defined in sections 3.1 and 3.2. Substance test: a test for the presence of alcohol and or illegal drugs analyzed by a laboratory facility licensed by the New York State Department of Health to perform forensic toxicology and approved by the department. Use: any ingestion, inhalation, or injection of alcohol or illegal drugs. Prohibited conduct: following conduct by members is strictly prohibited. Use: positive presence, possession, attempted possession, sale, transport, or delivery of any illegal drug as defined in section 3.2 while on duty or off duty, or while in uniform, or while in any department premise, property, or vehicle. Use, possession, sale, transport, or delivery of any drug paraphernalia, e.g. hypodermic needles used to inject illegal substances while on duty or while in uniform, or while in any department premises, property, or vehicles. Use positive precedents: possession, sale, transport, or delivery of alcohol or related paraphernalia, e.g. beer taps, beer kegs, while on duty or while in uniform, or while in any department premise, property, or vehicle. Any use of alcohol that may elicit a positive test result while on duty. Refusal to cooperate in any substance test ordered by the fire department, including the completion and signing of any required forms. Duties regarding substance policies. Duties of all members. Every member who is on duty or is off duty and present in any department premise, property, or vehicles who reasonably suspects or knows of a violation of the policy required to report the violation immediately to the officer on duty at the location of the violation, the direct supervising officer of the member who may be in violation of this policy, or if appropriate, the next superior officer. Any member who fails to report a suspected or known violation of this policy shall be subject to disciplinary action. Use of prescription medication. Every member on light or full duty who is taking a prescribed medication that might be impairing the mental or physical ability to fulfill his or her work duties shall immediately notify his or her commanding officer or civilian supervisor if the member has such a supervisor. No member is required to reveal any confidential medical information to their commanding officer or other supervisor. The member may provide a simple statement without revealing either the nature or the medication or the condition for which it was prescribed. Failure by a member to report this information to his or her commanding officer may subject the member to disciplinary action. The member's supervisor shall seek a determination from the Bureau of Health Services, the BHS, by ordering the member to BHS for a fitness for duty determination. The member's supervisor shall document the referral to BHS in a unit journal, or if a unit journal is not maintained, in a memorandum to his or her immediate supervisor. The member is required to inform BHS of all relevant medical information. Duties of all officers. Every officer on duty or while in department premise, property, or vehicles will be held accountable for compliance by the subordinates with these policies. Failure on the part of officers to enforce these regulations will result in appropriate disciplinary action and will be reflected in the officer's performance evaluation. Every officer who observes a member exhibiting possible signs of alcohol or drug abuse shall consult with the Consulting Services Unit, the CSU, and may refer to the member to CSU. Every officer, whether on duty or while in any department premises, property, or vehicles, who reasonably suspects or knows that any member has engaged in conduct prohibited by the ACU or any addenda shall immediately 1. Prohibit on or off-duty members present at the time of discovery of any violation of this policy from leaving the premises without permission of the investigating officer. If any member is permitted to leave the premise during an investigation, the investigating officer shall document the reason for the release of the report to be sent to the Chief of Department by the chain of command. 2. Immediately relieve on-duty members from emergency response duty. 3. Immediately have the affected unit placed out of service. 4. Notify the administrative battalion chief or, if appropriate, the next superior officer. 5. Notify the Bureau of Investigations and Trials, the BITS. 6. Document the incident in the company journal. Duties of all chiefs. Every chief, whether on duty or while in any department premise, property, or vehicles who reasonably suspects or knows that any member has engaged in conduct prohibited by this AUC or any addenda shall immediately notify the Borough Command to the chain of command weekdays 0800 hours to 1600 hours, or the command chief at all other times, i.e. nights, weekends, and holidays. Ensure that the affected unit has been placed out of service. 2. Ensure that all notifications required under Section 5.5 have been made. And 3. Consult with the command chief to designate an officer as the investigating officer. Duties of investigating officer. The officer charged with investigating a suspected or known violation of this policy shall immediately conduct roll call. All on-duty and off-duty members present in premise shall be part of the roll call. Advise all officers and firefighters whom the investigating officer reasonably believes may be subject to charges of their right to representation before being questioned. Following notifications, conduct an investigation to ascertain which members may have engaged in any conduct prohibited under this policy. If the officer has reason to believe that any members has violated this policy, the officer shall immediately order that such members be tested for alcohol and illegal drugs. If the officer orders testing, he or she shall document the reasons for the determination and report to the chief of the department by the chain of command. If the officer determines that there is no reason to believe that this policy has been violated, he or she shall not order testing and shall document the reasons for his or her determination and report to the chief of department via the chain of command. Duties of other FDNY units and personnel. After a suspected or known violation of this policy has been reported, fire officers, medical officers, BITs, and the testing unit are authorized to order testing for alcohol and illegal drugs. All testing ordered by a fire officer, BHS, BIT, or testing unit may be conducted by BHS, BIT, or the testing unit. All reasons for testing shall be properly documented by the person or unit ordering the testing. Testing members. All members. The following members shall be tested for the presence of illegal drugs and or alcohol. Every member ordered for testing pursuant to Section 5 of this policy. Every member who has been arrested on or off duty for any reason related to the prohibited conduct specified in Section 4.3. Every member who has been arrested on or off duty for any reason related to the use or possession of an illegal drug. Every member whose on-duty conduct leads to a reasonable suspicion that he or she is violating any provisions of this policy. Every member who has been disciplinary leave or suspension that resulted from the alleged use of possession or alcohol or illegal drugs, or B, any violation of the AUC or any addenda, including random drug testing policy, the BHS shall ensure that the testing takes place prior to the member's return to duty. Such testing may be conducted by BHS or the testing unit. Every member who has operated the department vehicle that has been involved in a major accident as defined in Safety Bulletin 56. The highest ranking officer who has responded to the accident shall ensure that the testing takes place in an expeditious manner and shall coordinate such testing with the testing unit. If any personnel required to be tested are immediately transported to a hospital, the medical officer on duty shall ensure that the personnel transported are tested in an expeditious manner and shall coordinate such testing with the testing unit, BIT, or other required BHS personnel. The highest ranking officer, or where applicable the medical officer, shall document the reasons for the failure to test a member via the chain of command in a written report to the fire commissioner and chief of department. Every member who, after supervisory referral to the CSU, fails to comply with the treatment recommendations of the CSU will send the employee to VHS for a duty status evaluation that will include a substance test. The employee's noncompliance will be reported by BHS to the BIT. Any member who receives a supervisory referral and fails or refuses to comply with the treatment program recommended or approval by the CSU will be deemed A, to have disobeyed in order to comply with the treatment plans recommended, B, to have exhausted his treatment opportunity. Every probationary firefighter, wiper, marine, engineer, pilot, fire marshal, lieutenant, captain, supervising fire marshal, battalion chief, medical officer, department chief, deputy, assistant chief, fire marshal, assistant chief, chief of staff, chief of fire marshal, chief of operations, chief of department shall be subject to illegal drug testing on a random basis. Every member ordered for testing by a fire officer, BHS, BIT, or testing unit. Members of the Bureau of Fire Investigation. Every applicant to the position of fire marshal shall be subject to a substance test. Probationary firefighter. Every probationary firefighter shall be administered an alcohol and illegal drug test as part of the 5th grade medical examination. Members who have signed a testing agreement. Every member who has signed an agreement to be tested for illegal drugs and alcohol as a condition of employment or in settlement of a disciplinary matter shall be tested according to the terms of the agreement at the discretion of the department and without prior notice. Members subject to drug and alcohol testing pursuant to agreements with the department may be tested while on duty at any work locations. Testing unit personnel shall administer such testing. Upon arrival of the testing unit, all personnel at the work location of the member to be tested shall comply with the instructions of the testing unit. The member supervisor shall be responsible for promptly locating the member and for ensuring full and prompt cooperation with the testing unit personnel. Members shall not make any public announcement over the intercom or otherwise regarding the arrival of the testing unit personnel assigned to conduct substance testing of members. Members on light duty or administrative assignment shall be tested as follows. The ranking commanding officer of the unit where a member is on administrative assignment or light duty will order the member to report to the testing unit forthwith when so informed by the testing unit. Transportation will be provided if necessary. Testing procedures. The department shall test members according to the following procedures, unless the department is conducting random drug testing. In all instances, the department will make every effort to ensure the integrity of the testing procedure and the privacy and dignity of members being tested. A request to a member to provide urine blood constitutes an order. Every member shall comply with such orders. Members must cooperate fully in providing urine or blood specimens and shall follow instructions given by department doctor, nurse, BITs, or testing unit personnel. Trained personnel assigned to BITs or testing unit will administer a urine test. A doctor or nurse assigned to BHS will administer any blood tests. BHS BITs, the testing unit shall confirm the identity of the employee being tested by checking the members, FDNY photo identification card, or New York State driver's license. Members shall list on the drug and or alcohol testing questionnaire BHS form all prescriptions, over-the-counter medications, or dietary supplements ingested, inhaled, or injected, or otherwise taken within the previous 72 hours, and all substances containing alcohol consumed within the last 24 hours, and all food ingested within the previous 24 hours. Information must be as specific and exhaustive as possible. Retesting procedure. Any employee who had tested positive for any illegal drugs may, within 30 days of notification of such results, submit a request for drug and or alcohol retest, T3 form, to BIT, seeking that the specimen be retested by a laboratory other than the one that conducted the first test. Such a request shall be granted provided that A, the laboratory selected by the member for retest is certified by the New York City Department of Health and approved by the Department of such testing. The member had provided a specimen sufficient for additional testing. The retest by the secondary laboratory is performed solely at the member's expense. The retest by the second laboratory is performed on the specimen contributed at the same time as the specimen tested by the department's designated laboratory. The specimen is transported directly from laboratory to laboratory without handling by the member or any agent of the member, and just ends there. The second laboratory provides the test result directly to the department as well as to the member. Random drug testing. The FDNY shall comply with the random drug testing procedures set forth in AUC 202 Addendum 1. Every member who is subject to testing of the department personnel shall comply with random drug testing as defined in AUC 202 Addendum 1. Substance testing for members who have signed testing agreements. Testing unit personnel will call the officer on duty after the start of the tour to ascertain that the member is working. The member is not to be notified until the tester arrives. When the testing unit arrives at the work location, the officer on duty should direct the member to report to the company office where the member will receive further instructions in connection with the testing to be administered. Guidelines for violations of this policy. The Department regards violations of this substance policy as serious offense and has established penalty guidelines for its violation. These guidelines are designed to cover the most common infractions, but there may be cases that do not fit precisely within them. The Department reserves the right to depart from these guidelines and to exacerbating or extenuating circumstances of each individual case require, including the number of supervisory referrals available to the member pursuant to PAID 1 TAC 84. More of the settlement and testing agreement may contain additional conditions. The following are guidelines only and are not meant to abrogate in any way the due process rights provided under the New York City Civil Service Law, New York City Administrative Code, or any applicable collective bargaining agreement. In addition, the Department's use of these guidelines will take into consideration any findings and recommendations made by an administrative law judge at the New York City Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings Trial or by a hearing officer after a disciplinary proceeding. Suspensions. Pre-penalty administrative action. Members may be suspended for up to 30 days in the following situations. Any violation of Section 4 and 5 of this policy. Positive test result for illegal drug or alcohol on duty. drug or alcohol-related arrest, DWI, DWAI arrest. Any other violations of existing fire department policies, rules, or regulations. Any violations of Section 4 of this policy relating to alcohol. First offense, up to 90 days, pay, 2 years testing, referral to CSU, final warning for substance-related misconduct. Second offense, up to termination. Positive test results of illegal drugs, refusal to provide specimen penalties. First offense, termination. Drug-related arrest penalties, up to termination. DWI, DWAI conviction penalties. First offense, not involved in accident or injuries, 15 to 30 days pay, 1 year of testing, referral to CSU, final warning for violations of substance-related misconduct. First offense, involving a motor vehicle accident, any injury or other aggravating factors, 30 to 60 days, 30 to 60 days pay, 2 years of testing, referral to CSU, final warning for violations of substance-related misconduct. First offense, resulting in serious injury or death of any person, up to termination. Second offense, up to termination. Termination of probationary firefighters. A probationary firefighter shall be terminated under the following circumstances: refusal to cooperate in required substance test or positive drug test indicating conduct prohibited by this policy. A probationary firefighter may be terminated for any violation of this policy by order of the fire commissioner and chief of department.